A group of ambitious university students have made it their mission to help foster a love of maths and science among their younger peers. It follows concerns by the nation's chief scientist that Australia's ability to develop its own knowledge and innovation is at risk because of a declining interest in science. $54 million in federal government funding was recently pledged to reinvigorate student interest in these areas. But educators fear there's still a long way to go. Caroline Winter reports.
Meet some of the potential scientists of the future. Now meet those who want to inspire them.
That'll work really well. So what you might want to do is launching a water bottle rocket is very different to launching a real rocket, but some very similar principles apply. So even though this stuff is, I guess, fairly scientifically simple, it still teaches them a lot and hopefully have fun with it.
These Year 6 and 7 students from Unley Primary School have been given a mission: build and launch a rocket to Mars.
We're just taping over the top so that it can fly through the air a little bit better and it doesn't get caught.
In another room, the students are building a Mars lander.
If it hits the ground going fast, and because the ground's very hard, it's very rocky on Mars, it's going to break, pretty much guaranteed, yeah? So we want to slow it down because this thing is worth billions and billions of dollars.
They have a budget of $20 million to construct a craft which will protect their precious cargo.
And we need some bubble wrap, please.
OK, that's $9 million.
Then, the big test.
3, 2, 1.
Engineering student Sam Lowe loves science. So much so, he and the Adelaide University chapter of the American Institute of Astronautics and Aeronautics are spending their own time and money spreading that love.
A lot of teachers aren't necessarily sort of experts in science, and while they might enjoy it, they might not be able to sort of share much with the kids. So I think that's where we can really come in, because we love science and we're very passionate about it.
Unley Primary School is the second South Australian school to benefit from the Space Workshop. Teacher Sarah Bullen jumped at the chance to get the group in.
And I think kids need to be engaged in maths and science at this age so that they foster a love of it, and then they can keep their options open for when they move into high school as perhaps something they'd like to take up as a career or for further employment.
She might be right, but the figures tell a different story.
We're finding that university enrolments are fairly steady, but high school is really dropping off, and I think that really stems from a problem in primary school, that the students don't have a lot of exposure to science in primary school, so by the time they get to high school it's a foreign thing, and initially it seems quite hard, and they become quite alienated from it.
Just how alienated was recently outlined in a review by Australia's chief scientist, Ian Chubb. Between 1992 and 2009, the number of Year 12s taking physics, chemistry and biology fell by 31%, 23% and 32% respectively. And while many Year 12s chose maths in 2010, there was a shift from the advanced and intermediate subjects to elementary. The report also found university graduates in science and engineering plateaued between 2002 and 2008, then grew slightly in the 2 years to follow. Ian Chubb says all this makes for a concerning future.
Consequences for our country are you become an importer of knowledge if you're lucky. And we might be called the lucky country, but I don't think we'd be that lucky to get what we need when we need it.
He says students found the subjects hard, boring or not relevant, and that teachers need to be far more engaging. That's something Year 10 student Charlotte Lemon has been lucky to experience.
I had a really good science teacher in Year 9. He explained everything really well, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love science. I didn't even realise it until someone actually showed me how much it was fascinating. It's so diverse, there's so many things about it that you can like.
As a result, the bubbly student moved to the Australian Science and Mathematics School based at Flinders University. It's a place where Principal Susan Hyde says textbooks and the rote learning of facts are a thing of the past.
We also need to connect it more with real life situations, because young people these days, they're aware of world issues. You know, they may not be interested in acids and bases, but they might be interested in climate change and pollution.
The students at ASMS are engaged, and so are their teachers. But what about those who aren't? The Education Union says what's needed is more support.
There should be a great deal more in the way of concentrated professional development activities for the teachers so that they are teaching, as the report suggests, teaching science literacy rather than just the small, narrow view that some people have had in the past of what science might be.
The point of it all is to eventually foster more science and maths teachers and, of course, scientists and engineers. Adelaide University's outgoing Vice-Chancellor says there's an added concern that the fundamental subjects are no longer compulsory in the Year 12 South Australian Certificate of Education, and suggests universities consider other options like offering students a tertiary education while they're still at high school.
And saying to them, you've got a guaranteed place at the University of Adelaide, but in order to get into the subject of your choice, engineering or whatever it happens to be, here's what you have to do at Year 12. Here are the subjects you must do at Year 12. We don't care what marks you get, so if they're hard subjects, it doesn't matter, but you have to do them.
It may be this kind of new age thinking that will help address an old but increasingly concerning problem. But while the answer is being worked out, it might be up to ambitious university students like Sam Lowe and his group to spread the love and inspiration.
To infinity and beyond in an old Coke bottle. Caroline Winter reporting there.